Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Welcome back, Jen.
Oh, thanks, Dave. It's been a little bit, huh?
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. That's right. We are both back now, finally in the same, well, not the same studio, in the same laptop boxed space now, looking at each other, talking about Disney and all that good stuff. Main Street Electrical Podcast, and we're glad you guys are there. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Jen, how did you Disney this week? Or last week? You have like 2 weeks to cover now.
I have
whatever.
like 2 weeks to cover.
You have a whole space to choose from. How did you Disney?
So I mean, honestly, I've been Disneying by going through memorabilia. Because we're like sort of packing up, putting some stuff in a storage unit because we're looking to maybe move, so we have to stage the house. And I've come across some real treasures from the past few years, so it's fun. I actually found these like annual pass holder things from like 2008.
Oh wow! Back when passes were like $500.
Yeah, those were the days.
And even then it was like, oh my gosh, those are so expensive.
Those were the days.
Exactly. Well, I Disneyed by being in Disney last week.
Well, that's the best way to Disney.
We'll talk about that over the episode and stuff. But it was a great trip. It was a wonderful trip. There were 14 of us that went, which had the potential for disaster all the way across the board.
True.
When I told anybody, how many people are going? 14. Oh my goodness, that's awful. No. It was actually really good. There were one or two moments where there was like a little disagreement here or there about what we should do. But overall, people kind of did their own thing. It was my family and this family together, and then this family and that family together, and then our family. Like it was, 4 families total. We kind of hooked up here and there, and there was a little bit of, okay, we're going to wait here for you guys to come on, but you need to come on. Don't stop and shop. Don't stop and take pictures. You need to come on because we're writing this now. Let's go. So we can, a little bit of that sometimes, but overall, it was a great trip. It was a great trip. We'll get into more of that a little bit later on, including Genie Plus and DAS passes and crowds and such. So we'll talk about that. And we'll hear about your Cancun trip as well. But first, I want to get into, I want to ask you, Jen, how was your Thanksgiving? Let's jump on that real quick.
Thanksgiving.
You haven't been here in 2 weeks, so Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was good. We went to my parents' house. So it's kind of a chill day. Honestly, we, my mom basically cooked everything. I helped clean up. We watched movie. We watched a Muppets Christmas Carol because that's perfect. And then we watched Muppets Letters from Santa from 2008, which I had never ever seen.
Nobody had heard of that. Like I heard several people going, I didn't know this existed, and
I didn't either.
How was it? I haven't seen it.
You know what? It was. I don't like the music as well as some of the other Muppet movies, but it was great. It was super cute. It was just it was a fun. It was funny. There were some good moments, and it's funny. My dad, he's into police officer shows, FBI, like any of those kind of like crime shows. He's like, wait, that's the guy from Blue Bloods.
David, no, Tom.
Oh no. Was he Law and Order? One of the guys from Law and Order.
Oh gosh, there's like 15 iterations of Law and Order.
I know.
Anthony
I don't even know if
and Chris. No, they were there.
No.
Brad, Margaret.
I want to say he's one of the district attorneys. He's not one of the.
I have
anyway.
No
or maybe he's like partners with somebody. Anyway, well, I'll look it up. I'll have to. You know what? I'm gonna look it up.
A couple of months ago, I finished all 490 something episodes. Well, actually, now we're into 500 episodes of Law and Order SVU. I watched from season 1 all the way up to the current season. So I probably can knock out most of those, but I can't find the original Law and Order. Like it's like I think
that one's hard to find.
Well, NBC has like seasons.
Jesse Martin is the guy.
Jesse Martin, yes, he was also in Ally McBeal. That's how I know him actually as Ally McBeal, and he was in Rent. He was in, or at least
he was in Rent. That's right.
I don't know. He may have been in the original Rent, like the Broadway musical, but I know he was in the movie. Anyway, he sings a great version of Seasons of Love, which is fantastic, and so
he's fantastic. He really is. No, he was in Rent. Yeah, he was in Rent.
Oh, very good. Yeah, Jesse Martin's a good actor. I like that guy.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he didn't have a huge role, but it was a good role. So.
And that's it for the Main Street Electrical SVU Law and Order Broadway podcast. Let's get to some news. All right, so this is funny. I came across this morning, and this is from one of those websites that you kind of like. Okay, take with a grain of salt, but they do have pictures, and so I kind of think it might be true.
Okay.
Permits have been filed for the new Wizarding World of Harry Potter land at Epic Universe, which is very interesting because we don't know what that looks like. Now, Epic Universe is going to be Universal is they have their problem is the fact that they're so scattered with their land. They don't have land; it's all continual, which is why Endless Summer, which is their their newest resort, it's a value resort. I know you don't know what that means, Jen, and you probably don't even know.
I'm confused. You might have to explain that.
It's literally across the interstate. Like when I'm booking that, when I'm quoting it for clients, one of the cons I'm letting people know is you can walk it. There is a bridge that takes you across the interstate to get to the regular park. You don't want to do that, and so their Wet and Wild was down the road. They had to clear that out, and so their new land area is going to be like a mile down the road, and all this land in between they don't own, and so they've got to figure out the shuttle services or whatever to get to the new parks. Why they don't call their shuttles the night buses, I don't know. That they have to call.
Oh, they totally should.
So the theory has been in the Epic Universe there will be different lands. I've heard Mario Land is coming. I've heard the land dedicated to How to Train Your Dragon is coming, and of course the Harry Potter world. Right. And the rumor is that it's going to be themed to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is fine, but that's not a really popular movie.
I was going to say, but I even know a ton of Harry Potter fans that are like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, the movies are okay. The third one was supposed to come out. I think it got pushed back from 2020. Nobody's excited about it. It's honestly like the new Avatar movies. People know they're coming. They should have been coming a long time ago. Nobody's excited about it.
It's like nobody cares anymore. It's terrible. Nobody cares
anymore. Honestly, if you're going to build a Harry Potter world, you need to do the whole Ministry of Magic. Do the Ministry of Magic kind of area, build it on the original, and obviously they want to move forward with the Harry Potter universe, and I get that, but I don't know how excited people are. Well, people are going to be excited because it's Harry Potter, but at the same time, I don't care about Fantastic Beasts. I don't really know the characters or the whatever, so anyway, we'll see what Universal does with it. In 10 years, they'll move it, they'll take it out and put in something new, like a new Transformers area or whatever, but also, Finding Nemo over at Disney World gets a sequel, gets a new name. It's going to be called Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond, and it will be set during the timeline of the Finding Dory sequel, which is the sequel to the original Finding Nemo film. The show will be set in the Marine Life Institute and will open with the rest of the Tank Gang from Dr. Sherman's office. We saw those in the post-credit scene. They were in the big, the bags and everything. They're like, now what? So they made it to California. So we will hear more about this as it opens up.
Interesting.
I think they're going to keep some of the original songs. They probably have to because those songs are.
I hope. The Big Blue World is such a great song. I love that Big Blue World.
And
Just Keep Swimming.
If we lose, don't Just Keep Swimming. I'm going to be so upset because that's my favorite song in Disney World. I love Just Keep Swimming.
So upset. I love that one.
It makes me sad that that's even possibly going to go away. Candlelight Professional, as we reported, many people reported it, but I'd like to say that we broke the story. Candlelight Professional, they sold out immediately because there's only 4 restaurants doing it.
Right.
I was today years old when I found out that they're doing a quick service Candlelight Processional dining package at the Regal Eagle Smokehouse in America, in the American Pavilion. No idea. So basically, they're offering it as $39.99 per person. It includes an entree, non-alcoholic beverage, a dessert, and a guaranteed seating at your choice of show. Availability is limited, and packages are distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. So it's not something you can reserve. You just have to go there and get it. I don't know a lot of details about this. Again, I just found out about this literally 15 minutes ago. Like when I was looking for stuff for the show, I'm like, there's a quick service package?
Didn't even know. Is there a list of where?
No clue. A Regal Eagle. That's it.
Just the Regal Eagle.
Just the Smokehouse, yeah.
Okay.
So if you're in Epcot and you want to go see Candlelight Processional, go there and see if you can get a package, see if it works. Let us know how that works. I would love to know if it actually does work. We were there last week walking through Epcot. The first show was at 5:15. At 3 o'clock, there were people lined up for the first show.
That doesn't surprise me.
There are 2 lines. One line on one side is the standby. The other line is the Candlelight Processional, the seating packages. And that line was already started too at 3, but it wasn't quite as heavy.
Sure.
The first line at 3 o'clock probably had about 50 or 60 people in it. They were lined up. And this was to see and I'm not going to try to say her name, but this is the girl who voices Moana. Obviously, she's popular with the Moana crowd. She's not somebody that I would have heard of or be lined up to see. I can only imagine when somebody even more popular shows up, like Jodie Benson or whatever, how long that line's going to be. So yeah, finally, annual passes now unavailable, which I got to tell you, my luck with annual passes. This is God telling me that He does not want me to have an annual pass. Because September 2020, the family and I went to Disney World. We bought a 10-day ticket with an attempt to bridge it to an annual pass. And we found out that the day before they had stopped annual pass sales altogether. They brought it back this summer, and we're like really excited. My wife and I are talking about it. We're like, you know what? In November, we got a 10-day ticket in November. We're going to bridge that to an annual pass. So we get there, and we show up, and annual passes have become suddenly unavailable. And I'm like, Seriously, like literally hours before they were unavailable. And this is just God doesn't want me to have an annual pass. So 2 years in a row, we bought 10-day tickets, used 5 to 6 days of them, 4 days that are wasted because we're expecting to get an annual pass. And yeah, I don't know. So it is something that I don't know that we expected it, but I thought it might happen because they're so busy. I mean, there's no space. There's reservations are gone for the parks. The park pass reservations are crazy. They're busy. And
over the holidays,
over the holidays, yeah.
Over the holidays, meaning.
I wish they had sold them anyway, even with the caveat of, okay, you need to sign this form with the understanding that you don't get back in the park until January, or everything is blocked out until January 15th or something. Maybe they'll do that later on because maybe they want to figure out when they can resell them safely.
Yeah,
but I would have purchased one. Even with because I'm not coming back till March. So if they'd said, okay, name your time to when you want to start your passes, starting in February 1st, I would have been fine with that, or March 1st, I'd have been fine with that. But I hate that they're just suddenly unavailable,
it's annoying. I mean, it's also like, really, but
Disney, please let me give you my $1,200.
I know.
Actually, it would have been $900 because that was the bridge between the two.
The bridge between the two, right?
Because we had a TA ticket with travel agent ticket, and it would have been that cost or whatever. So yeah, that's crazy. So let's talk a little bit about. First of all, let's talk about your trip. You went to Cancun with Rock Star Agent Kyla.
Yes.
Who our quasi producer Heather loves to talk about all the time. She's Kyla. So. Jen, a little bit of your trip, Cancun. What are you guys down there for? What was going on?
Oh, actually, we're not in Cancun. We were in Mexico, but we were over.
It's all
we flew into Puerto Vallarta, so that's on the west coast of Mexico, and then we actually had to cross state lines, literally, because we went from the state that Puerto Vallarta is in, which I believe is Jalisco, and we had to cross over into Riviera Nayarit, which I'm sure I just butchered that pronunciation. I'm so sorry for Spanish speakers. I took French, so that's so I pronounce everything like French.
So you and Kyla go to Paris, you're set. You and Kyla go to Puerto Vallarta, you're like, I don't know what to do.
No, Kyla's parents both taught Spanish, so
well, there you go.
No, she's not fluent, but she's pretty good. Like she can
right, gotcha.
Yeah, she's pretty good. So between the two of us, between me and Kyla, we can go to a couple of places.
Awesome.
But we stayed at the Secrets and Dreams Bahia Mita, which is a new build, and right on the Pacific Ocean, and it was lovely. So I have to say, the beaches are different than the beaches in Cancun. Kind of a small beach. You're going more for the pool area there, but it was a lovely large resort. It had a fantastic spa. We really enjoyed that. Good food, and we were down there for the Travel Impressions Best of the Best, which was a big honor for the agency.
Which of course is our agency, and of course is you and Kyla. Of course.
But we for sure, like the agency definitely contributed to this, so it was just really nice to be honored among some really fantastic colleagues down there.
This is an invitation only thing, right? This
is
isn't something you just sign up for. This is like,
no,
the
this
best, so come with us. Yeah,
exactly. It's like you have reached this level with us. We are appreciative of your of you guys utilizing
Travel Impressions. Explain Travel Impressions to the client or to the guests out there who aren't
so
sure what
Travel Impressions is one of our vendors that we use to book through. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for us, and they have great rates for our clients, and it's a way that we get it's a way that we package together. It's like when we're doing all inclusives, or if we're doing, we can actually sell domestic trips that way. We can do a lot of, but that's when we're packaging airlines and hotels and transfers, all sorts of things together. We are often using Travel Impressions because they are a company that we really enjoy. And so, we were invited down for their Best of the Best. It was, fantastic. They had, the first night was a neon party, which was super fun. Kyla and I just had a ball, people watching and, walking around. And we met some of our sales managers from
Day-Glo plus alcohol equals fun for the entire family. Let me just
tell you that dance
from
floor,
experience. Let me tell you,
that dance floor was lit, and but like actually lit, like from the bottom, like there were
That's
lights.
So funny.
And it was like there were anyway, but it was super hilarious watching certain people dance. I believe we Marco Polo too from that dance floor.
Yes, you did.
And Kyla had an admirer. We will just say that.
No, Heather, it wasn't me. So stop that.
She was just like me. She's like, I don't know what to do. I was just dying over there. I was like the afterthought. He was like, you look really great. Oh, your outfit's nice too. I'm like, Cool. That was that. And she's like looking at me like, what? It was hilarious.
Well,
But
it's good that you stayed with her rather than, hey, I'm gonna go home and get something to drink. You guys have a good.
I wasn't leaving her.
That's a good wingman. Good job.
Yeah. I was like, hey, let's go get some shrimp. And then I found the taco station, so we were good because I was like, look at these appetizers. This is great. I want a freaking taco. Where's the taco? Oh, there's the tacos. So then I was okay. After I found the tacos, and then the next night, I can't even think what the next night was. Oh, it was this like boho chic thing. We had a great motivational speaker he was wonderful. He did magic too, which was cool. And then he's a former Philadelphia Eagle, John Dorenkamp. Yes, I mean I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh. Right. So, I mean, that's the opposite side of the state for me. But
you also don't sports very much either. So
I don't sports very much.
He could have been a Pittsburgh Steeler, and you'd have been like Ben.
I would have at least
Laughlin-Burger.
Okay, no, I at least know the Steelers' names because I live here. So, like, I don't have a choice. But then, anyway, the last night was a gala night, so everyone's in their formal best. I think they surprised us with this random, like, it was awesome. Mark McGrath's on stage. We had like some Sugar Ray going on.
Sugar Ray going on.
That's... Like, Kyla and I were like right in front of the stage. We're like, yeah. Like we're back to college, baby. It was we had
the Gen Z's out there going, who is this guy?
Literally, Gen Z is like, I don't know who this is.
I don't know who this is. Who's Sugar Ray? Is that Maroon 5? What is that?
Like, they get into I Just Want to Fly, Kyla. I'm like, we're rocking out. We're like screaming the lyrics. I'm sure we're on video somewhere, just being absolute fools dancing in our gowns and heels. There were girls' heels in front of the stage, though. Like people just wanted to stand there and like sort of be right in front of the stage. And
well, he's also a good-looking dude. Even now, Mark McGrath is a good-looking guy. I mean, he's in his, I guess, 50 something. He's aged well. He's really funny. I maybe you saw him in person, maybe he hasn't, but I will say that like he's on Sirius XM every weekend. He's funny. He's engaging.
He's hilarious.
He and I are actually best friends because I have a Christmas ornament that it's a little blimp, a Christmas Santa in a blimp, and you push the button, it sings "I Want to Fly," and I put that on Instagram and I tagged him on it, and he responded like with "That's awesome" or something like that. So obviously he and I are best friends now.
I mean, obviously
we spent time together on Instagram, approximately 7 seconds of non-communication. So
I mean that's like you basically besties.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, he was hilarious, and there was this one gal in the crowd. I mean, let's just say she was at least 30 years his senior. she was quite into it. And Kyla and I also enjoyed that. So we were like, dang, look at her go. She was on it. It was entertaining.
You can only hope that you're that limber, 40 years.
I mean, literally,
when 60, like
when I'm like, however old she is, if I can be that spry, like these are hashtag goals. So, but yeah, we had such a super great time, and we met some of our sales managers. I mean, not met, but like, we got to hang out with them. Right. So yeah, good time. Enjoyed the property a lot. Like I said, and that was my first time to Puerto Vallarta area. Same for Kyla.
Nice.
So it was nice.
Well, it's fun with Puerto Vallarta because if you grew up in the 80s and 90s and you grew up listening to game shows, watching game shows, Price is Right and Family Feud, whatever, or I guess Wheel of Fortune, whenever they give away a Mexican vacation, it's always and a trip for 4 to Puerto Vallarta. It was always Puerto Vallarta. That's how I know Puerto Vallarta. I don't even know where it is in a Mexican map. If I looked at a map of Mexico, I couldn't be like, it's there. I just know Roddy and a trip for 4 Puerto Vallarta. Estimated value $7,544. And it was never Cancun. It was never Riviera Maya. It was always Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta, yeah. And I don't know if that's because like from, Hollywood, that's a closer flight. That's still West Coast, whereas East Coasters tend to go to Cancun because it's just.
But it just so exotic too, Puerto Vallarta.
It does.
And honestly, especially through the 90s, Cancun I'm not saying
had a stigma.
This stigma of the parties,
Spring break.
They had the documentary, the quote unquote documentary reality movie, The Real Cancun, which is an awful film. It's terrible. Not that I've seen it, but if I had, I would tell you it's terrible. No, it's it has the stigma, and it's like Panama City Beach or Daytona Beach, which I think now is kind of coming out of that stigma.
It's coming out of that a little bit.
But yeah, so Puerto Vallarta just sounds exotic and it sounds cool. Like Cabo. Well, even Cabo, it does sound a little partyish. But Puerto Vallarta just sounds cool and Mexican and high end. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
why it was so
yeah.
popular. So
And Secrets and Dreams Bahia Mita, yeah, like it was. And there's a family side and then there's adults only side, and there was some
right.
really neat infinity pools and stuff. So
So this
yeah,
is
we
the
had a great time.
this is the resort that you would recommend, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we really liked it.
Awesome. Good.
Lots of fun things to do. So if that's the area of Mexico you want to go, I would definitely sell it. It is about probably 45 minutes from the airport, so it is a bit of a longer transfer than some other places. But it was
Very nice.
yeah, but it was a cool drive. We saw a
Cool.
Skyliner. I'm like texting Kyla because she was in the bus behind me. I was like, dude, there's a Skyliner. She's like, where are we? I'm like, are we in Disney? I'm
That's awesome.
confused. Like, it was awesome.
Going over to the Riviera, Maya. So
Yeah,
sure,
right.
Skyliner. So we flew out early Saturday morning of the 20th. Our flight was at 5:45 in the morning. And okay, so let me just set this up. There were 14 of us. My wife's family, every year, the parents, her parents take, not every year, but every 7 or 8 years, her parents take the whole family to Disney World. And every time we go, and I've been to 3 of these now as being part of their family for the last 18 years, every time they go, it's emphasis on a different set of grandchildren. The first time we went in 2007, my wife's sister, Stephanie's sister, has an older sister, and she has a family of 4. Her kids are now like 24 and 20. At the time, they were like 7 and 4. So this is 2007 or whatever the math is right there. And so the trip was kind of all about them, My Steph and I didn't have any children yet. 2013, we went as a family. Of course, her kids, the kids were older. Our son, Campbell, was 2 years old. So the trip was kind of about Campbell. I mean, it was about all the grandkids, but kind of about Campbell because there were 3 grandkids. Well, this time, Steph's younger brother, Tyler, has a wife and 3 kids, and their kids are like 5, 3, and 1. So they're much younger. And so this trip is kind of all about them. Fortunately, the whole family gets to go, and this is our Christmas present. Like, this is what we get nothing under the tree with our name on it for anybody because this is our present. Like Campbell's Christmas present from the grandparents was basically like, you get a ticket. You got a 7-day park hopper ticket. That's your ticket. Yeah. That's your present. He'll have something, I'm sure, with a name on it because he wants to open a present, but he didn't even care about the presents themselves. He just wants to open stuff. I've seen it. And so
wrap an empty box.
We stayed at Saratoga Springs, and the way it was set up is my wife and Campbell and I, Steph and I, had a 1-bedroom to ourselves. And the older sister and their family of 4 had a 1-bedroom. And then the family of 5 and the grandparents had a 2-bedroom at Saratoga. The rooms were beautiful. They were fantastic. Saratoga Springs, they've just been refurbished. I mean, everything you need is there. The kitchen area is a perfect size, great counter space, the stovetop. They're like not like a little Art of Animation mini area, but like an actual stove, microwave, full-size fridge. The bed was so comfortable. It slept up to 6. It was a king-size bed for us, and our kid typically crawls in bed with us in the middle of the night anyway, so we went ahead and just put him in our beds because I had to work. I mean, I worked every night last week, late at night, and I didn't want him sleeping on the sleeper sofa. Which, by the way, I took a nap on one of those. Very comfortable.
It is. That's a nice sleeper sofa.
Very, very comfortable. The view was great. I mean, the whole room was fantastic. So I cannot express enough how great it was. We ate the quick service there. Our animator's palette.
I love that one.
Is either animators or artists? I think it's artists.
It's artist palette. It's artist
animators on the ship.
Correct.
It's great little counter service. They have a gift shop counter service together, sort of like, and you won't know this, but sort of like Pop Century has their gift shop and counter service kind of together.
Oh, okay, cool.
Saratoga
I mean, I know what it looks like at Saratoga.
It probably is the only similarity that I'm going to be able to tell you about between Saratoga Springs and Pop Century Resort.
I mean, probably.
But, yeah, there. So that was kind of the setup of how we went, and I don't want to go day by day because I would bore everybody going. And then we rode Barnstormer, and then we went over to Dumbo. But I wrote down a couple of things I do want to talk about. First of all, the crowds were crazy because it's Christmas time. The entire week was sold out for terms of park pass reservations. Now, I will say that I had a family, and I'm going to give you, okay, so first day, we had the family of 5. They're driving in from South Alabama. So we were all supposed to meet at Tortilla Forno, and I'm saying the name Tortilla Forno. The
Trattoria?
Breakfast. Tortilla. I can never say it correct.
Trattoria.
I can't spell it. I have to type it in like on Google. I'm like TUTTIO and hope it pops
Wait,
up.
are you talking Tutto Italia or Trattoria al Forno?
Whatever is at Boardwalk. Is it
Trattoria al Forno?
That's what I just said. So anyway, I type it in and it pops up. So we were all going to be there at 6 o'clock for dinner, but we got in a little bit later. The flight was a little bit late, and then like the family of 5 was driving in, and they got stuck in traffic. And so the grandmother of the group, she got to her room late because she didn't have a chance to freshen up. Which you women know this. I don't get to freshen up. I'm not going out to dinner. I just got done flying. I'm tired. I don't have time to freshen up makeup. I'm not going anywhere. I'm fine. I'm in my pajamas.
Right.
So I went to the concierge there at Saratoga Springs, and I talked to a guy. I think his name was Tyler actually. And I was like, Tyler, here's my thing. I got 14 people at the restaurant that Jen just said. And we were supposed to go there in like 20 minutes. We're not going to make it in 20 minutes. I got 5 people not even here yet. I got a grandmother who is not going to go anywhere because she needs to freshen up. And he was like, say no more. I got you. We'll take care of it. And they canceled it without any charge. The other thing was I had a family coming in, a family of 8 actually, coming in on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day. Now, over the course of the last 6 months, there had been several changes. First, there was 2 people that were going to go, then they weren't going to go. And then 2 more people were going to go. And then 2 people were going to go and only be there for part of a day. So we bought them a ticket. And we had to cancel that ticket. So we added a whole lot of changes to their trip. Somehow, some way, and I'm going to say this is on Disney actually, because I swear that I did this, because I wrote it down. They didn't have two of the 8 did not have park pass reservations for Magic Kingdom on Friday. Everybody else did, but not them. So Tyler was so amenable and so friendly and just hanging out. I was like, Tyler, let me just say one more thing. I said, here's my deal. And I told him the situation. And he goes, so you need reservations for these 2 for Magic Kingdom? I said, yes. He goes, do you have their email? And I pulled out the information. He goes, doot, 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 doot. No problem. They're at Magic Kingdom. Done. I was like, that's amazing. This is magical. I was skipping step. I was on my phone. I was like, hey, client, just so you know, I'll never give you a problem without a solution. Here's the problem. Here's the solution. I'm awesome. I mean, it was great. It was really great.
Awesome. But there were people who were saying that their park passes were falling off.
Yeah.
We don't know why. If it was like, I mean, there had to have been some sort of a technical, wow, that's a really loud truck. That I
was like, are you hungry?
Like, my gosh, holy moly. But yeah, there were a few technical glitches that I've been reading about. Fortunately, none affected my clients who were down there that I know of. But
so the crowds were crazy, but they were manageable. And I say this because, and this is reason number 25,000 to get a travel plan or travel agent. Have a plan. Because the only way you can survive crowds like that is to have a plan, to know what you're doing when you go to the park. Even if you're not very familiar with Disney, to at least be familiar with what you're supposed to be doing, have a plan. We had a plan, and everything worked great. Everything worked fine. We did get Genie Plus each day of our trip. Because of our travel agent tickets, we were able to get travel agent tickets, or some of us were, I was, and we were not able to add Genie Plus ahead of time, so everybody just decided as a whole, let's just add it day by day. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
So we added it the first day. And again, it's one of those things. I've taken webinars on it. You and I have talked about it. I've talked to other people about it. I've watched videos on it. Genie Plus is something that I don't know that you can really fully comprehend until you just do it.
Until you do it. I agree.
You do it. I did it 6 straight days in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bad part is that, okay, let me start with the good. I'll start with the good part.
Start with the good part. Make it a sandwich.
Make it a sandwich. The good part is it does allow you to get on attractions. I mean, it does. Yeah. Like you hop on there. Now, you need to be on at 7 o'clock, but if you can be there and be disciplined at 7 a.m. Local time in Orlando, you can get whatever attraction you want. It's right there.
Yep.
For however big your party is, Genie Plus. Once you get Genie Plus on your app, it's easy to do. You just pull up Tipboard, you scroll, and there it is. That's the one I want. You got to do it fast, but there's the one I want. If you want to purchase one of the individual attraction selection, lightning lane selection, individual attractions, whatever they're called, it's easy. You just, I want Rise of the Distance, boop, 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 boop. 2 clicks later, you're done. You got to be fast, but 2 clicks later, you're finished.
Yeah.
The hard part about this was that Disney has a problem here. You can't find the darn thing. You would think there's a button on the homepage that says Buy Genie Plus. There is not.
No, there's
not. There is not. Every single day, and I'm not kidding you, every day, it took me 5 to 10 minutes to find where to purchase Genie Plus.
We should pause though here and say that's if you have tickets and you have not done Genie Plus as part of your package.
Correct. If you're buying it day by day, and maybe they do that because they want to make it harder for you to get. But
it is more difficult. It is more difficult to find.
It is 5 to 10 minutes, and that I think that to me is a fault though, because it should not take me 5 minutes. I've done travel planning over 630 individual Disney trips for families over the last 8 years. I know what I'm doing. It should not take me 5 minutes to find stuff on
right. But I mean, also, it's a new part for the app.
It is a new part of the app, true.
But the fact that you 6 days in a row, you still didn't it still wasn't intuitive.
And also, and this is for you, Josh. I know you're listening. I know you always listen, Josh, tomorrow. So take this in the spirit in which it's intended. It's in love. The chat feature is garbage because they dance around your answers. They don't answer your questions.
They don't have the authority to do anything. Basically.
They don't. Well, I mean, like my question simply was, where do I purchase Genie Plus on this app? That was my question. It took me 10 to 15 minutes to get an answer from them about any of that. Yeah. And if you pre-purchase it, I didn't pre-purchase it. Where do I purchase the day of? Oh, well, you can go here and get it. No, you can't. I mean, it was a struggle. It really was a struggle. Once we got it, it was easy peasy. It was done. It was good. However, the bad part is that things go quickly. Things go fast. This is reminiscent of the old fast pass system where they don't have fast passes for all day for everybody. They don't. It is because then what good would it be if everybody had a fast pass and you could whatever. So by mid morning, most of the things that you want are gone. Hollywood Studios is a great example. By let's say the park opens at 9, early entries at 8:30. We go straight to the one you want to ride. Usually we did Slinky Dog or Toy Story Mania first because my kid loves Slinky Dog. We would get a Lightning Lane pass. I think the first day we had a Lightning Lane pass, I believe, for Millennium Falcon. We did it right at 7 o'clock in the morning. Our pass wasn't until 11:30. It went that fast. Within 5 minutes, it was gone. We also purchased Mickey Minnie Runaway Railway. By the time we got to purchase it, after I got Millennium Falcon, so it was 7:02 at this point. Our time was 3:55. And by 7:10, those are all gone, and they're gone for the day. Now I have heard that they do dump more in there over the course of the next hour, over the course of the next.
Probably based on
checking. You have to keep checking over and over and over. Who wants to do that? And that was a whole lot of face on my phone, looking, searching, looking, and there was a lot of that too. It did make it easier on some attractions. It did make it easier to get to those attractions, knowing that we were able to get those attractions out.
Sure.
I will say that Genie Plus for $15 per person per day. I like it better adding it on as a whole to begin your trip before you do it day of, because it reminds me of the dining plan where when you add it on as part of the dining plan, you don't worry about what you've paid. I know that sounds very cynical and very just wasting money, and that's not what I'm saying. You don't think about, okay, well, today we paid for the dining plan, but we only ate one quick service and we split a plate here at Primetime Cafe. And I don't think you don't think about that.
You don't think about that.
When you're paying it per day, then you think, oh, we only did 2 rides today, whatever. Because paying for it per day really guarantees you one attraction and guarantees you a chance at other attractions. That's kind of
now. I'm gonna put a caveat in there because you were there over one of the busiest.
I was there. Yes, now that is. I was there. And I had 12 people getting Lightning Lane.
Correct.
So that does.
I was there at the beginning of November, and I will tell you, some mornings didn't even set up my first one until 8 a.m. I was still fine, still got multiples per day. And I could still buy, I bought Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at 5:30 p.m. one day for a 7:30 slot. So I think a lot of it, I want to say that over the holidays, it's going to be way harder because of the crowds.
Well, having said that too, to add to that, I've been helping a family this week, and I purposely volunteered to help them do it because they also have special needs as well, and I know they're very busy, and they've had a hard month, and I was one of those families that, and you know this, Jen, one of the families that and you're just happy to send them. You're overly excited that they get to go because you know this family needs this break, and you're just so happy to be a part of it. You're so happy to be a part of what they get to do. And so I volunteered every day to say, you know what, I'll get up for you and set this up for you if you'd like. And they were like, absolutely, would love that. And I did that partly because I wanted to see what this week was like versus last week. Sure. And what you just said is absolutely right. This week, whereas last week, my boarding group for Remy at 7 o'clock in the morning was boarding group 63 and then 83. Yep. This week, I got boarding group number 5 for this family. Family of 4. Yeah. I also was able, and I did Slinky Dog for them this very morning, as a matter of fact. I got it for 10:30 in the morning. Just like that. So I think crowds are going to play a big, big part of it.
Crowds, definitely. I just really think, and that's the one thing when I was reading stuff this week, I'm like, all right, but that's a busy week. So over a holiday, like Brady and I already talked about it, and we're like, we're not going to buy it New Year's Eve. We're just not, because we'll get done what we get done. Right. So, yeah.
Well, and I have several families who've added it for their Christmas week vacation. And I think it's good because, again, it will guarantee them.
No, it'll guarantee something. It'll be worth it. Agreed.
I think over time these kinks can get worked out. The other thing that we did too, and this is to our advantage, and I want to say this as a caveat right off the bat. People who listen to this show, and they know me, they know I have a special needs son. Right. And I know families that have said right off the bat, their autistic children, they would never change a thing about their autistic children. It would change, and I get that. I respect that completely. I love that about their family and their child. I would change the autism of my kid in a heartbeat. Like that, I would do it. Because I don't think not to get philosophical about autism, but I don't think it would change who he is as a person. I think it would just change his communication. Having said all that, one of the only benefits to special needs is the DAS Pass. So there was one point this week, whether it's good or bad, whether Disney forced me into saying this, I was like, thank you, autism, because we got the DAS Pass. Utilizing the DAS Pass and Genie Plus was wonderful for our family. It was life-changing for our family, utilizing both. The bad part about the DAS Pass is setting it up beforehand, because that phone line system they have is just horrendous. Disney, Josh, you got to change that. The way it works is just horrible. And I actually predicted that to begin with before they even introduced it. I was like, you're going to have 50 cast members working on 5,000 trips a week that can't get it done. People are giving these horror stories of being online or being on the phone for 12, 13 hours, getting disconnected, not getting it, whatever. So my honestly, it's easy for us. I tried 4 days in a row. I couldn't get through. We just set it up. First 5 minutes of Magic Kingdom, set it up right there as we walked in. It was done. One question that people had was, okay, if you have a family, so the DAS Pass, basically, the way the DAS Pass is set up is you have your DAS Pass guest, Disability Access Service. So Campbell was our DAS Pass guest. Every ride we set up for him, he has to go on. He has to scan his Magic Band. So it's set up around him. And you have 5 other people that can use it at the same time. Now, one question I had, and people have been asking, well, what if you have a party of greater than 6? What if you have a party of 8? Do you leave off 2 people when you set it up? We had a party of 14. 13 had tickets. They let us put all 13 on the DAS Pass. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, you realize suddenly we disappeared. Well, that's because yesterday we had to stop the episode. Jen had some crazy thing going on. I mean, I'm sitting here eating a bacon sandwich, and I'm like, let's keep this thing going. And Jen was like, no, I got to go because she's so
Wait a second. This is not how this happened.
I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly how it happened.
Yeah,
it was 26 hours ago, so I don't quite remember. But we're back. That's why we have different outfits on, because it's the next day. What's up? So
I recall, my for some reason, you couldn't hear me anymore, and we couldn't figure out what happened. So.
I couldn't. Now, I will tell you that Brady, Jen's husband, Brady actually texted me and was like, you're so lucky. She was talking, you couldn't hear her. It was amazing. I love that.
Oh, my gosh.
So, just kidding. Just kidding. No, it was the agents that texted me that. Anyway, so.
He just keeps digging a hole, folks.
This is all for quasi-producer Heather to be able to know where to kind of put the things together. We will jump right back into where we were, and we were saying that the DAS Pass, now the Disability Access Service, I've brought this up a couple of times, and one of the things that people have asked me, and asked a lot of people because we didn't know, I was trying to find out the answer, and it's one of those questions, there's some questions that you have about Disney that it's such a specific question, you can't find the answer to it. A great question for me yesterday was, somebody asked me about Animal Kingdom Lodge. Is there enough room behind the bathroom door, where the sink is, the bathroom door, in a standard room to put a pack and play? I have no idea. Maybe.
Right,
I don't know. I have no clue. But I was able to find that answer out. We think there is enough room. But anyway, so a question that was asked of me several times was simply, okay, the DAS Pass. You got your guest that goes on the DAS Pass itself, himself, herself, and then you got 5 other people. So do you only get to put 6 people on this pass as a whole? Or can you put more than 6 and then go out and select your party for your trip? Found out directly, because we had 13 with the tickets, we could add all 13 to the party, and then per attraction, go and pick the people we wanted to go on.
Wonderful.
Which was fantastic, which will help families a lot. If they have families of 7 or 8 or 9, a lot of times you have a mom that doesn't want to ride, you have a grandma that doesn't want to ride, or guess what? The kid gets to ride twice. That's what happens several times. We rode Slinky Dog several times, and we would just kind of rotate family members through who wanted to ride it, and he loved it. We weren't necessarily using him as a tool to ride stuff, obviously. It was just stuff that he wanted, but we were able to do several things like that. So using the DAS Pass and the Genie Plus in conjunction with each other while we're waiting for a Lightning Lane to come up, we were using the DAS Pass, and quickly the way it works simply is if a wait time, let's just say a wait time on Small World is an hour. Oh, no, Peter Pan. Wait time on Small World is never an hour. Let's just say it's Peter Pan.
That makes more sense.
It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The wait time is an hour. So you set up your DAS Pass. You go in there. And if you go on my Instagram, actually, Disney, The Magic on a Dollar, and you go on the highlights, you'll see an Instagram little highlight post of a story of how the DAS Pass works. Go in the app, set up your DAS Pass, pick your people. It'll give you a return time. So 60 minutes. So it might say come back at 2:05. A lot of times it'll be earlier, like 1:30 or 1:45, but let's just say 2:05. So you've now waited the full hour. You just don't have to wait in line. The disadvantage to the DAS Pass is now you have to go to the Lightning Lane, so you might wait an extra 10 minutes. So really, we've waited an hour 15 versus everybody else who's only waited an hour, but we didn't have to do it in line, which is very helpful with special needs because a lot of children just can't do it. They can't focus. They can't stay in line. We have a medical stroller, which sounds a lot more ambulatory than it actually is. It's just a big stroller is what it is. And we do that for him because he's very active. His legs work just fine. They work too well because he runs everywhere. But it helps keep him kind of stable in one place. If we're in a long line, like a Peter Pan or something, 30 minutes in, he's like climbing the walls. He wants to get up. He wants to move. He wants to run around. Just can't do it. And a lot of kids are like that. And so the DAS Pass is not for Well, I broke my ankle last week. I'm still in a cast. Can you get the DAS pass? No, that's a wheelchair. You need to be in a wheelchair. It's really for those people who have cognitive disabilities or, well, disabilities of any kind that prevents you from being in the line.
Right.
You know, like physical disabilities. That's something you have to kind of weigh with the cast member. You go to the guest relations at any park, and you simply say, "When you set up a DAS pass," a lot of times they'll have the blue umbrellas, the guest relations team, set out in front or all around the parks, and they'll set it up initially at the beginning of your trip. I think I mentioned trying to get on with a video was impossible, so we just did it first day with Magic Kingdom. They looked at everybody, looked at our parties, made sure everybody was on there. They did the bands and stuff. Campbell has to go through first on any attraction. So he goes through first. Stephanie had his band, went through, we rode Mine Train, which is not on Lightning Lane. We just did the wait time.
Right.
And it was an hour, 75 minutes. It was, 2 o'clock. We came back at 3:45. And unlike Lightning Lane, where you only have an hour, you can go back at any time. You can't stack these. So if it's 1 o'clock and our time is 1:45 for Small World, and it's 2:13, 2:15, 2:30, we don't have to worry about racing back over. If we're on, doing Barnstormer, or we're doing Big Thunder or whatever, or we left the park, we went to Grand Floridian. Why would we do that? No, we went to All Star Sports to eat at the End Zone food court. Whatever, and we come back at 4 o'clock. We can still go do our DAS pass. It's just have to be after the time. So it worked really, really, really well. And I wouldn't mind doing a full disability access service episode, maybe on down the road. Maybe
that would be a great idea.
We could talk about that, allergies and stuff. I do want to mention that we had several great experiences with allergies. Campbell. He's not necessarily allergic, but we keep him off of gluten, off of soy, off of wheat, dairy. Stephanie is like no preservatives, no artificial dyes, on any of that. He is one of the healthiest physical kids I've ever seen. His diet is so fantastic. So what she does is there is an email, and I recommend this to anybody with special needs. And there's an email service that you could actually email out. And I would recommend doing this a month or 2 months out to each of the restaurants. And simply say, hey, we're going to Tusker House on November 26th at 11 a.m. Here's our confirmation number. It's a family of 5. Our son Campbell has these dietary restrictions, blah blah blah, letting you know. Basically, you're letting them know you're coming. So what happens is the chef will come out to the table. They will a lot of times they will actually have certain things ready to go, or certain things made on a different counter. A counter set up for that particular, just for that person. Counter cleaned off and set up for that person at that time. Now it's not impossible, but if you do, let's say we were able to get into, I don't know, Liberty Tree Tavern at the last minute, ask to speak to a chef. They're not going to have that cross-contamination stuff set up yet. I mean, it may take a little while longer, or they may come out and say, we would have this if we had advance notice, but we don't. So what we can do is blah, blah, blah. Campbell was able to eat, grilled chicken. He was able to eat vegetables. Topolino's Terrace had a flourless Mickey waffle with sugar-free syrup for him and nitrate-free bacon for him.
Wow.
And you have to know too that my wife is very big on the dietary stuff. She does her research. Whatever she says goes with it. I agree with it. I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what a nitrate is. Let's go with it. Okay. So nitrate-free bacon and stuff. They're able to fix desserts like flourless and dairy-free chocolate desserts and brownies and things like that. A lot of times it's just cookies or whatever, but they'll come up with something. Topolino's is fantastic. Steakhouse 71 was amazing. The chef came out, talked to Stephanie, Chef Brian. He came out and talked to her, and he was like, well, tell me what we have. Stephanie was like, well, my son is this, and this. Okay, well, here's what we can do. We're going to do this, and this for you. What if we do a steak? It's going to be a 4 ounce to 6 ounce. Is that okay? Medium rare sounds good. Okay, so vegetables. All right, so, we don't want to do, I will tell you that the corn, you're not going to want to do the corn because the way we cook it is blah, 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 and that's going to go against what you're saying. But if we do the carrots, Campbell is very particular about his vegetables. He will not eat carrots in strips or in, they need to be cut up into either cubes or like sliced into circles and cut in half. They did that. They cooked them very soft. And Steph and I actually took the carrots real quick and chopped them up on a plate. He ate most of his carrots. I mean, it worked really, really well. So it's really great. The one that I think the two that we didn't really care for as much, Tusker House, and it really wasn't anybody's fault other than just they didn't have a lot of the food there. He wasn't a fan of the chicken itself. We had early lunch. My meal was pretty good. I like breakfast much better there than I do lunch.
I like breakfast
meal was good. For him, it was just okay. Via Napoli was a problem, and I think people with allergies need to know this. Not that they're rude about it or anything. It's just the style of food they have. It's Italian food. They're not going to have a lot of non-pasta, non-carb kind of stuff. So we had a problem there. A lot of times they can actually, certain restaurants, and Skipper's Canteen has done this before, where they actually went to another restaurant using the utilidors. Last time we went, they went to Liberty Tree Tavern to get him an allergy-free brownie and bring it back to him, which was amazing. Via Napoli doesn't necessarily have that capability. And so our meal there wasn't great. We didn't really enjoy for a lot of reasons. Plus, it was also very tired. He had one of his only very few meltdowns there, so it just was not a great time for us there. Surprisingly, Pizza Rizzo, the pizza place in Hollywood, has an allergy menu. Like,
that's
not only
like
just
shocking.
pizza, but half their menu is, if you have a soy allergy, here are your options. Dairy allergy, here are your options. Gluten, like there's 12 options for allergies. It's remarkable. I was like looking at the menu going, my goodness. And we were able to say, well, can we get him a pizza without these things? And which they don't have a chef. They have kind of a lead cook there or a lead kitchen person there. Came out and said, oh yeah, we'll do this and this. We'll do this and this for you, whatever. It took a little bit longer to get it. We had pizza. I've got pictures of him eating pizza. It's just, Disney is wonderful when it comes to allergies.
That's so good.
So that's kind of a wrap up of my trip overall. In terms of the crowds, Genie Plus, the DAS Pass, and obviously I don't want to run into forever time, so we can talk about this all day because I'm sure you have lots of stories too. But one thing I want to end with here is simply being kind to your cast members. Genie Plus is frustrating. It's so frustrating. A lot of cast members have problems with it too, and I would go to a cast member and say, "Where can I find this?" And the cast member's like, I don't know. I don't, because a lot of them haven't used it. They, for whatever reason, they haven't been able to use it or haven't had a need to. So they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
If something disappears, and that's happened, you mentioned before that that things have dropped off. I had one of my clients do that before. I had a client just this morning say, "Hey, we had Be Our Guest. It's not in the app anymore. What happened?" I'm like, "Go to Guest Relations. Go look for it. It's something she set up. I didn't. So you go find it.
Right.
See if it's there, because it might very well be there.
And it just might have fallen off the face of the reservation. It's
true.
just, and we haven't had as much time to learn some of the nuances.
Yeah. And she said, "What if I just go to the restaurant and kind of beg because my daughter's the bail outfit?" I was like, "No, don't do that. Go to Guest Relations. That's where everything's going to happen.
Yes.
Go find that blue umbrella where it says guest experience team. Go find them. If you go to the restaurant, it's just regular cast members there.
Yep, and they're not going to be able to do anything.
Regular, but they don't have the power to override stuff and say, "Oh, let me get you in." They're not going to have that power. So go see Guest Relations people. Talk to them.
Yes.
Be nice to them. The final anecdote here, we were actually we were on a bus, and of course the Disney buses, by the way. Disney has a fleet of buses that they use from resort to resort.
Interesting.
When you want to branch outside of the Grand Floridian, and I know you realize for you there are 4 parks and 4 resorts, and they're all surrounded around Bay Lake there, there actually are more resorts. Just FYI, I know I'm blowing your mind here.
Huh.
Exactly, right?
I don't believe you.
Right?
It's fake news.
Right. Well, there's some in Boardwalk, and there's Saratoga and Old Key West. So
I know
the
about
deluxe
Saratoga.
resorts. Yes. So anyway, we were waiting for the bus, and we got on the bus. And of course, I had the stroller and stuff and everything got on.
Yeah.
And they were we were on the bus, and we were stopping at another location to pick up some more people. And they put the ramp down for a guy with his little scooter to get up there.
Yeah.
So we got up there, and he was not very good at the scooter. He just couldn't parallel park it into that spot. And so the little bus driver, little short lady, was trying to tell him, "Let's get back in," whatever. And he gets really frustrated, and he's trying to back it in. He bangs into a seat. He bangs into another seat. He almost runs over my toe, And she's like, "Well, sir, I just need you to, if you can." And he kind of just looks at her. He's like, "Well, why don't you do it then? I'll just get up and let you do it." And I'm like, and of course her face is like, she can't just pick the thing up and move it. Finally, they figured it out. I mean, they finally got it moved in a certain place, but just really rude to him. And not her fault that you can't drive. I get it. And things are hot. Things are crazy. Things are busy. It's Christmas time. Be kind to your cast member. If there is a cast member that's being rude to you, if there's a cast member that's being a jerk to you as you see it, sometimes you think they're jerks to you, and they're really not. They're just trying to tell you, this is my job and this is what I can tell you.
Right.
That's when you go back to Guest Relations and say, I was over at Splash Mountain and I was talking to cast member Frankie, and he said this to me, and I did not appreciate it. Take it up with Guest Relations. They'll figure it out from there. Don't just demean your cat. It's not nice. It's not nice. Be kind.
And sometimes people are rude to them too, and they're humans and they have bad days sometimes. You don't know what may have just happened.
Right.
So I always try to give the benefit of the doubt. There's only been 1 or 2 situations where I'm like, all right, there was no reason for that reaction whatsoever. Like, I asked a really nice question, and you were very short and very rude back, and like your answer was
and those
uncalled for. But that was like I said, that's like how many times have I been, David?
Right.
2, like I can think of 2 times.
You've been like 2 times since yesterday, since we recorded last yesterday.
Like, and
twice.
and really, the one time I was like, okay, that was probably like they're having a bad day, and I let it go. There was only one time where I actually deemed it, okay, this is problematic, because if one of my clients had dealt with this, like there was only one time where it was like absolutely out of line. That's the only time.
And I'm seeing on Twitter where people are like, the magic is gone. I had this experience, a bad experience, or whatever. And Our experience was magical. I mean, it really, really was. Yes, we had the Genie Plus and the Dash Pass, so that helped a lot with the lines. But the food services was great. The dinners were great. Skipper's Canteen. We actually brought people who had never eaten there before to there.
Oh, yeah.
They did get rid of the congaloosh, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate.
Very not happy about that.
Yeah, I like the congaloosh.
But they had some other creamy, coconutty kind of smoothie drink that was there that was fantastic. So, I had a great experience all week long.
Yeah.
There was one or two times I was like, not my favorite cast member. I would rank them below the other cast members I've dealt with. But overall, I had a magical time.
That's
I had a
wonderful.
great time. So can't wait to go back. Can't wait to send more people there. Genie Plus is something we're still trying to figure out. I know we're like 2 months into it now. It's something that it's going to take another month or two to really even come up with okay, so I kind of see how this is going. Hey, you know what? If you have Genie Plus questions, info@uponstartravel.com.
And we will answer as best we can with the data that we have at hand. And that's the thing with FastPass, we had years worth of data. Yeah, this gets weird sometimes, but here's the fix. Here's the workaround. We just haven't learned all of those things because it hasn't been here long enough. So we are learning new things every day.
Top of mind as we end the show here, let me ask you, I'm going to go park by park, Jen. I want you to give me, we'll start with Animal Kingdom. Okay. First of all, if you recommend Genie Plus at all. But secondly, tell me the ride you purchase.
Okay.
Tell me the ride you go to first.
Okay.
The ride you Lightning Lane first, or if you only get Lightning one, and the one you would wait till the end of the night to do. So that's 4 attractions.
Okay.
And let's pretend that you do purchase it, Genie Plus. We can talk about whether you should purchase or not later on. But let's just say you do purchase it for Animal Kingdom. It's day of. Which one out of the two do you purchase? Either one, Pandora or Everest? You can say no on that if you want to.
For me, I'm not doing a lot of
Well,
purchasing.
let's say you tell a client. Let's say you tell a client who's been to Disney
For what I'm telling a client.
Yes.
And not to say I wouldn't purchase something. Right. It just I go a lot, so a little different scenario for me.
Yep.
But yes, in general, I purchase Flight of Passage.
Okay.
A single rider line Expedition Everest.
Okay.
I love Expedition Everest personally, but
of course
the line is not usually terrible.
Right.
So my first attraction of the day, or sorry, my Genie Plus attraction is Kilimanjaro Safari.
Okay.
And if I did purchase Flight of Passage, I would actually probably go first thing to Expedition Everest and get in line.
Makes sense. I think, and this is also dependent on the family that you are out there, folks. If you're a family that gets there early, gets there at rope drop, I'm going to not purchase either one. I'm telling you, go straight to Pandora. I mean, typically, if you get there, park up at 8, early to 7:30, get there at 7, maybe a little bit beforehand. I know it's early, but if you get there early, get on in there. You're going to ride Flight of Passage probably in the first hour. And by 9:30, 10 o'clock, you're done. So I'm saying do that first. If you have to purchase them, purchase that one. If you purchase that one, Kilimanjaro Safari, you should Lightning Lane. I'm probably going to tell you to go to Navi first because hopefully if you've purchased Pandora, your pass will be sometime in the morning, so you'll be all right there. Go to Kilimanjaro. End of the night, I probably would do Everest end of the night. Although you can kind of watch that overall.
But you can watch that throughout the day.
Exactly.
And we can also make recommendations. I should point out, that's what we'll do is based on what your family says is a priority. If you're telling me, listen, we're not going to get to the parks till 10 a.m. every day.
Right.
I'm going to maybe make different recommendations.
What about Hollywood Studios? What do you purchase? What do you Lightning Lane? What do you head to first? And what do you wait till the end of the night to do?
Purchase
or
Rise.
Would you recommendations, I guess?
Purchase Rise.
Okay.
Mickey and Minnie's I would rope drop. And my first Genie Plus pass. Well, for me, I'm picking Tower of Terror because that's my fave. But
of course,
probably most people would pick Smuggler's Run. But I'm picking Tower of Terror.
Okay. Any of them you're waiting to the end of the night? You're saying, you know what? Probably at the end of the night, you probably will have a shorter line to knock this out. Maybe do this.
Honestly, Tower of Terror at the end of the night is usually shorter. Actually, Falcon toward the end of the night has been shorter too.
That's what I was thinking too.
So I mean, I could see an argument either way. So whichever one I decided to basically grab my Lightning Lane for first, I would do the other one at the end of the night. It just kind of probably would depend on my mood.
Well, here's what we did. We purchased Mickey Minnie. We purchased that one. It was only $9 versus $15. And again, we're talking about 10 people. It's a little bit of savings.
Well, yeah, that's a difference.
But if you're a family of 4, it's still just a few bucks. We purchased Mickey Minnie, so that way it's done. I would say go to straight to Slinky Dog upon opening. I'm going to Lightning Lane, probably Rock and Roller Coaster, so you can do it sometime later on that day.
Yep.
And end of the night, I'm telling you, go to Rise at the end of the night, towards the end of the night. Now, it's one of those things too. If you, depending on your family structure, if you can wait the hour to hour and a half or whatever, look
Yeah.
at the times, find when it's a 90-minute wait, and just
Sure.
hop in line and do it. That's your one time for all the entire parks. You're gonna
Right.
wait that long for stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I would just consider doing that. Magic Kingdom. What do you
Okay.
are you purchasing? And if so, which one? Which one do you rope drop? Which one do you do in the night? Which one do you lightning lane?
Me personally, I'm not
Mhm.
purchasing anything there.
Yeah.
Now,
Same. I'm not purchasing either one.
most clients, I'm going to
Mhm.
tell purchase Seven Dwarfs.
Yep.
If you're going to purchase one. I did, and granted, I was a non-holiday time. I am not paying $7 for Space Mountain. I've ridden it
No.
80 zillion
No.
times.
You
I
should
love
never pay
Space
so much.
Mountain. I
Nope.
am not throwing shade on Space Mountain because that's a must ride for me every single time.
Mhm.
The line was 35 minutes. I'm
Right.
good. Like I waited in line the 35 minutes. Either I'll rope drop, honestly, but I wouldn't even rope drop that one because
Mhm.
the wait is not terrible. Or I'll go
Right.
at the end of the night when the
Right,
lines are
right,
shorter.
right.
That's fine. I'm probably gonna go rope drop Jungle Cruise if
Okay.
it's the Jingle Cruise because
course,
the
of
line
course.
gets
Yep.
stupid long. I'm gonna go left and I'm gonna hit up Peter Pan. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna hit up Jungle Cruise, probably Peter Pan. Good grief, Pirates of the
Pirates.
Caribbean. Thank
Pirates.
you. I'm gonna
Pirates.
hit up Jungle Cruise and then Pirates of the Caribbean because Pirates will always be shorter than Jungle Cruise.
Of course. What if I'm talking about just a general family and making the recommendations for a family who likes a little bit of everything?
Oh my, sorry. First Lightning Lane, Big Thunder. I forgot to say.
Good call. Big call.
Yeah.
Good call. My thought kind of on that is actually, yeah, Lightning Lane, big call. Big Thunder.
Mhm.
I'm thinking I would probably tell them to purchase Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
With the amount of things that there is to do there, purchase Seven Dwarfs. I'm heading straight to Peter Pan upon park opening.
Okay.
Knock out
That's a good
Peter
choice
Pan-
too.
And Peter Pan Small World knock out together.
Yeah.
And I probably am doing Space Mountain at the end of the night. At
Yeah.
the very end of the night. Or Splash Mountain at the end of the night. Watch your splash times and try to get your Big
Mhm.
Thunder. If your Lightning Lane's Big Thunder midday, maybe do Splash first
Yeah.
kind of in the morning, knock it out, and then do Big Thunder. It's all there together.
See,
So,
I liked that when I grabbed my Big Thunder pass, it was for like 10:30 a.m. And
Mhm.
the way that worked was the park had opened, it must have been at 8. So I could make another
Right.
pass at 10. So then at 10, I grabbed, I don't remember what I grabbed, Pirates or Haunted Mansion. I grabbed, something else
right.
so that they were sort of
Right.
stacked up and that worked out well for me. But I mean, when
Final park.
Tron opens, it's going to be a different story.
Tron's going to be virtual queue.
I mean,
now.
that's going to be virtual queue, but it'll probably end
Yeah.
up replacing space as the buy.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah, and
imagine.
it'll probably be $20 a person, and I'll buy it in a heartbeat. Just to
I
have to
mean,
deal with
so
it.
will I.
It's-
So that's fair.
Yeah, well, you're going to get us media passes. We're going to talk to
Oh,
our
yeah.
friend Marcy, our dear Marcy, and of course Rory. She'll put Rory on the phone with Josh, and Josh can't.
Nobody can say no
when
to
she
Rory,
asks.
basically.
No, not at all. Not at
Like
all. So
she's
we'll get media
like,
passes.
just
so it
please.
doesn't
Everyone's
matter.
like, yeah, okay, that's fine. That's cool.
Final park, and this is more of a tricky one because there is a
this one's
question as to
hard.
whether you even need it or not. But let's just say you do. Let's just say the family has purchased
Mhm.
for the whole week,
Mhm.
including Epcot.
Yeah.
What are you going straight to? What are you purchasing if either one? What do you wait until the end of the night? And what do you lightning lining?
So if you have not done, gosh, if you haven't done Remy, you're probably going to want to buy
Mhm.
Remy. Well, no, let me
Yeah.
take it back. You're going to virtual queue Remy. You're going to try a virtual
Yes,
queue
and
that
I
first.
think if you get it at
Yeah.
7, I think you'll be able to get in the virtual queue.
I think
Honestly,
so
it's
too.
not like Rise.
So, yeah, I'm probably going to try to virtual queue Remy. I'm going to like tag team with Brady. I'm going to say you virtual queue
right.
Remy because he's really good at that. I have no need to ride Frozen, but for my families with children who like that's a must do,
Mhm.
I'm telling them just go ahead and buy Frozen. The line isn't terrible,
Yeah.
but just go ahead and buy it. I am
Yep.
then going to rope drop Test Track.
Mhm.
And then because Soren hasn't been terrible with the 3 lines, and I'm gonna do but I'll do my first Genie Plus
Mhm.
as Soren.
Okay.
Or vice versa. I could see the argument. I just find the Test Track usually is running in the morning, whereas by
Right.
the middle of the afternoon it might have broken
Right.
down. So I prefer that
Yeah.
method.
Anything
that's
you're
what
waiting till
I'm
the end of
doing.
the night, or are you just telling people?
End of the night.
it's not too bad.
So I mean, honestly, Soren at the end of the night is
Yeah,
usually
well,
good.
honestly, there's several of you.
There
can
are
do. Mission
most
Space,
of them.
Most of them.
Mission-
Yeah.
I mean, you can walk
Yeah.
on almost anything. And
Yeah.
let's be real, Spaceship Earth, like I'm gonna walk on at some point when the wait
Yeah.
time is low. It's gonna be
Yeah.
easy.
I'm kind of the same. I probably would tell people to go ahead and buy Frozen. You can walk to Frozen. We've done that, but the problem with walking to Frozen,
Yeah.
and I've measured this out, it's a quarter of a mile to Frozen from the front gate.
Yes.
There's nothing else going on there at that time. So then you got to walk back to Future World. So now you've walked a half mile in the first 30 minutes of your day. I mean, it's like almost actually 3/4 of a mile. So I don't know that I recommend rushing to Frozen immediately.
I don't like to rope drop that one for that reason.
$8, do it. Yeah. By Frozen, I probably would rope drop Test Track if it's running. Otherwise, you Soarin'. I would lightning lane the other one, you know, and just get that done. I like the idea of going actually straight to Soarin' and lightning laning Test Track, because if you go straight to Soarin', you can do Soarin', living with the land.
And then pop next door and then pop over to,
Exactly. And again, with Genie Plus, it's a lot like the should I get Genie Plus question is now a lot like, well, how much does this cost for a Disney trip for my family?
Yeah.
There are so many sub-questions to this. What kind of experience would I have? What rides do you like?
Right.
What ride is a must-do for you? When are you going? Are you going Christmas Day, or are you going to go like August the 14th? I mean, you know, is everybody thrill seekers? Can your kids ride everything? And those are all the questions we have now with Genie Plus versus, oh yeah, you should get it. It's cool. I mean, there's so many. And that's why you need us.
I do, right. And I think it's a good fit for most families. I think,
I do too.
You know, I really think that for the majority of people, it's going to be something you're going to want.
Yeah. And I honestly, I kind of recommend getting it. I've heard other people say they don't recommend it. If you're buying it day by day, I definitely recommend it for Hollywood and Magic Kingdom. Animal and Epcot, kind of a wash maybe. Or just add it onto the whole package. And
I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where just do it ahead of time, and then you don't even think about the price.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Unless you're buying. So
that's a good place to wrap up, I think. Jen, where can we find you on the worldwide interwebs?
You can find me at Upon a Star Jen on all social medias. And then my personal Instagram is at Jen_Novotny.
Very cool. When you were out, I was having to give that as well, and I was doing it just like you. And I was like, you can find her at Upon a Star Jen or Jen_Novotny, and on all social medias. Find me on Instagram at The Magic on a Dollar. Find me on Facebook at Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar. And of course, find our show. Find us at online at themscpodcast.com. That's also at Gmail. That's where you can email us. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on all those places. You can contact us at any point, any time. And like I said, info at uponastartravel.com. Well, basically, we can set you up. And if you're like, Jen, I want to talk to Dave about my trip, or Dave, I want to talk to Jen about my trip, or I want to talk to whatever, we'll be happy to take care of you. I actually met with a client. Jen actually came with me on this. Met with a client this morning about an African safari. Yes, and I'm not talking about Kilimanjaro. I'm talking about like Nairobi and Kenya and the real thing. So
as
much as
Africa
Animal Kingdom can get you there, the real thing is actually in Africa. So
so
yeah, we do a lot more than just Disney and Universal. We would be happy to help you. So I think that's a great time. Great place to wind down here. Jen, I'm glad you're back. Loved Quad's Producer Heather, but it's just not the same without the Jen on the show. And I am Dave for Jen. Don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.